Welcome to this module, Introduction to Strength Psychology. In this session, we'll explore the concept of strengths and how you can apply them in coaching or training environments. We will focus on the background, the theory here, and what this means for the practical application, which comes in the modules after this one. Understanding how strengths help individuals and teams to tap into their potential, optimize performance, and create lasting fulfillment. Let's dive in. So, what are strengths? When talking about strengths, we are referring to character strengths, which are to some degree in the middle between talents and competencies. Talents are inborn specific abilities, such as musical understanding, or to some degree athletic skills. The flexibility of your joints, for instance, is something that you cannot influence that much, but a lot of skills will use that if you want to become exceptional at them. On the other hand, we have competencies, which are skills that are developed over time only and not dependent on your genetics, like project management or communication. These depend much more on how you were brought up and what your family and your school taught you over the course of your childhood and upbringing. And in the middle of those two things, we have character strengths, which means they have one component which comes from you being born a certain way, and another component which is dependent on how you were raised. It is basically a mixture of nature and nurture. Character strengths are universal traits, often tied to personality, that apply across various domains and cultures. Examples for these character strengths are empathy, honesty, or courage. They do not describe a specific skill, but the underlying internal structure that is necessary to develop and excel in a certain skill. This means that the strength wording that we are working with the Stronger You cards, is designed on a high conceptual level. And you as a coach or a trainer or a facilitator need to break down this high level in the conversation with your clients to situational behavior. Because in the end, we want to work on a behavioral level with our clients. Why do you want to work with strengths in the first place? Working with strengths shifts the focus from deficit orientation, which is about finding weaknesses and bringing them to a certain acceptance level, to strength orientation, which is about building on what you're already good at. With this approach, you will improve life satisfaction. By focusing on strengths, you are more likely to engage in activities that bring you joy and fulfillment. Secondly, it fosters flow experiences. Strength-based approach helps to create a state of high focus and engagement in which you lose track of time. And lastly, it leads to high performance, because if we do what we enjoy and we do it often and we do it well, then we become extremely effective in it. This means whatever you are exceptionally good at, whatever skill that is, whatever behavior that is, this is by all chances built on a strength of yours. This also means that when you build on your strength, you become more pointy. You become exceptionally well in specific areas of your life. This is in contrast to becoming well-rounded, which means that you don't have the edges anymore. You become slick and you can do everything on an acceptable level, but nothing on an exceptional level. With anything related to strength psychology, we always want to become more pointy, do more of what works, and become very pointy. Does all of this ring a bell? Going to school and getting our basic education, we were all trained to be well-rounded in all aspects of life. This was also necessary to become functional members of society. Yet, at some point, this uniqueness or pointiness means to embrace your shortcomings and double down on your strengths. This is why high-performing teams always have very different characters in them, very different people from different backgrounds with different skill sets and different attitudes who all come together for a joint goal, for a joint mission, can put aside their differences. They can accept them. They can further build on them. They can leverage them even. And by this, become an exceptional team. In contrast, poor performing or below average performing teams often require every team member to conform to the same standards, to the same behaviors, to the same levels of all behaviors. Of course, with this approach, best thing you can get is average results. At this point, let's do a quick strength spotting exercise. Let's have a quick exercise in strength spotting. Spotting strengths is a skill that helps identify what energizes and motivates you and others. It's about noticing the qualities, behaviors, and energy that shines through in any given situation. For the following exercise, please watch me how I answer the questions and write down your observations. Take a pen, take a piece of paper, open a Word document. It doesn't matter. Take anything, but take notes. The two questions that I will be answering are: which activities cost you lots of energy? And which activities do you truly enjoy? If you don't have anything to write at this moment, please pause the video, get something, and then start it again. Which activities cost you lots of energy? For me, what costs me a lot of energy is administrative tasks or big things about tax consulting and having uncomfortable conversations with people that I usually care about or that I effectively care about. But we have a problem. And that makes it really hard for me to enjoy these activities. And so this is very draining because my mind is always hovering on the different questions on how to solve this. Yeah, administration part of things, it's just boring. I know I can get it done, but it's just, yeah, you can see the energy leaving with that sigh from my body already when thinking about it. What were the behaviors that you could see? I hope you took some notes. If not, pause this video again here, take notes now, and then start it again for the second question. Which activities do you truly enjoy? That's a good question. I truly enjoy building teams. I truly enjoy building amazing products like our Stronger You card set. I truly enjoy modeling, and in this context, also working with numbers. I enjoy creating the spreadsheets, creating some magic, using some of the engineering math that I learned at some point and I never get to use usually. It's about connecting with customers, having great conversations around people development, organizational development. I truly enjoy hiring people, giving opportunities. In the end, it's all about giving. Now that I say it for the third time or so, it's all about making other people's lives better. And that is what in the end I truly enjoy. Great. Please write down your observations for the second video part. And if you haven't already, pause the video again, and then let's move on. What is it that you were able to observe? Which examples did I bring for things which I enjoy or don't enjoy? How authentic did it feel to you when I was speaking about things that are potentially based on strength or, well, not, right? What was my energy level? How fast was I speaking? How easily was I convincing you to join me on what I was talking about? What was the tone, pace, anything else you observed? And I would argue what you observed is easy talking, easy examples, good flow of words, high energy level, and a structured tone and pace, when I was talking about things that give me energy that I enjoy doing, while on the draining side, everything was a bit slower. It didn't even come to mind that easily, right? Much more pauses there. And I was also talking in a much lower voice, less energized. And that is how we can easily see the differences between things we talk about based on strength or based on, well, not strength. Let's call them weaknesses for now, but we have some more words to categorize those later. With this exercise done by me, I invite you to do the same exercise. Now it's your turn. Pause the video, take out your phone, take out your favorite recording app. You can even send yourself a WhatsApp message to yourself, so it all stays within your control, and answer the following questions. Which activities cost you lots of energy? Do it right now. Stop the video here. Do the recording. Great. Welcome back. Let's do this one more time. In our second recording, please answer the question, which activities do you truly enjoy? Pause the video now and make the recording. Okay, welcome back. I hope you now have 2 recordings to listen to again. While listening to your own recordings, I know it might sound weird, hearing your own voice and everything, but it is a great exercise for yourself to understand what it is that you're truly good at, what it is that you truly enjoy, right? We don't do that often enough. This kind of reflection, listening to ourselves literally. I can bet to an 80% that you have never done that, and you will truly enjoy that exercise, apart from listening to your own voice, maybe. While listening, please check all the different things that I mentioned: language, authenticity, energy level, tone, pace, and maybe even guess your strength. You don't have to use any card set for that. Just from what you hear, write down the words that come to mind. Do that right now and pause the video. Great. So welcome back once more. Thank you for doing this short exercise with me. I hope you can take a lot from it. A reflection of your own strengths and insights into your own behavior, even into your own speaking patterns. Let's move on from here. This is an exercise that you can do with your clients, basically in your second conversations if you do coaching, or it's a conversation that you can enable teams to have. It is an exercise that you can use in teams to give feedback to each other, because people will easily say, hey, this is where I see you're very strong at, energized, fun to work with, or here, this is always taken forever. So use that exercise in your practice, be it in individual one-on-one coaching or working with groups, with teams, team building, trust building, leadership exercises, whatever it is. Let's talk about what makes a strength. What are the characteristics of a strength? And number 1 is performance. When you do something that you are successful at, this behavior is most likely based on a strength. Secondly, energy. Whatever gives you energy while doing it is probably based on a strength. This behavior is probably connected to a strength. Sure, any behavior will take mental capacity, physical capacity, emotional capacity, depending on what you do, right? If you're working in counseling or childcare, probably rather on the emotional side. If you work in a steel factory, maybe more on the physical side. But these things can be draining. But you get a replenishment of energy on the spiritual level, on what really makes you feel relaxed, makes you feel enjoyable, makes you feel good about your own situation. And lastly, we have frequency. How often do you do something? And I hope you do a lot of things often that are based on your strength. For most people, this should be a no-brainer because the things that are based on our strengths are fun and we are effective and we do enjoy it. So why wouldn't we do more of it? Let's use these characteristics now to talk about 4 different types of strengths. First, we have realized strengths. These are areas of high performance, high frequency, and high energy. This is where we want to spend the most of our time of the day because it is where we excel and feel energized. We want to keep them at the forefront of our head and use them to achieve more success in our life. Whatever success means to us, really. It can be more fun. It can be more output. It can be doing things more often, whatever it is. Secondly, we have unrealized strengths. These are strengths we rarely use, but they are still energizing for us. And there is a lot of potential. Many people have a lot of unrealized, underused strengths. These strengths could give you energy, but you might not use them as much as you could. And the key is to bring them into your awareness and find opportunities to apply them. Thirdly, we have learned behaviors. These are behaviors you may do often and well, but they really drain your energy. This is how you know it's in this system a learned behavior. These behaviors were learned in the past, becoming well-rounded to some degree. You can recognize them and consider deleting tasks related to them and to adjust your focus rather on your unrealized or realized strengths. This is also often what people call work, and they stick to behaviors they learned at some point, and they are afraid to change and to switch to something that is more strength related. And lastly, we have weaknesses. These are the things that have a low performance and are still draining energy. These are really the things you shouldn't be doing at all. These areas feel like a struggle. And instead of forcing these, consider to delegate, minimize, or if possible, deleting them from your life at all. You should avoid these at all costs, really, because you're not good at them and they really suck the life out of you. With this categorization system, you can use this categorization system with your clients. Use the cards and ask them, where would you place every single card of the deck? And then dig deeper into the behaviors, into where it comes from, into how your client could use his or her unrealized strengths. This is a very powerful framework, and you'll find the downloadable PDF if you want to print it in the description below this video. Let's talk about how to describe everything around strengths and what makes it so powerful. And in this context, let's talk about signature strengths. Signature strengths are the strongest realized strengths. They are the 80% of the strengths bucket. Signature strengths are very essential to our self-image. You might hear people say, I am a numbers person, or I am easily relatable to people. And these statements are about self-perception, self-image, what people say, who they are. And this is also how you can identify signature strengths, because the things we're exceptionally good at, we link to our personality. Secondly, as we already heard, strengths help us to achieve flow and effortlessness. This is a state of deep concentration where you might even lose track of time. The connected strengths give you energy, making a task at hand feel more enjoyable and sustainable. You probably know it from being completely immersed in sports or playing music. You just take the next step, you just play the next note, and you'll lose any perception of time. You just hear the rhythm, the beat, and you follow along. And what do people say if they are in this flow state? Time flies. Using strengths, context matters. Not every strength is appropriate in every situation. For example, let's use being decisive as a strength. You might be great at taking decisions, but taking decisions without involving the necessary people around you will absolutely alienate them. In this situation, you take decisions prematurely, which can lead to worse results and even damage relationships at the same time. To use strengths always in the right context and under the right circumstances, because the strengths in one situation can be very weak or damaging in other situations. And that brings us to the topic of balance and the golden mean. While strengths are powerful, it is important to find this exact balance, because too much of a good thing can lead to challenges. For example, too much assertiveness can come across as aggression, or too much focus on detail will definitely limit creativity. And we all know that one person that is a great communicator, but really never shuts up. Why? Because they never learned to use their communicative strength effectively in the right context, only using the golden mean rule. You don't want to overuse. That is very important talking about strengths. The key really is to use moderation and adjustment based on context. And therefore, it's important to practice mindfulness and self-awareness to understand your own impact and to use your strengths most effectively. You probably do that with your clients anyways, because who else would we have in this course? So great job at implementing techniques and practices around mindfulness. Lastly, let me iterate the principle of round versus pointy. In strength-based development, we want to help our clients to become more pointy. Yes, we need to acknowledge and develop our weaknesses to a baseline of societal team acceptance. But beyond that, it is much more beneficial for us and our communities to be pointy. In summary, understanding and working with strengths is a game changer in both personal and professional development. As a coach or trainer, you can apply this knowledge to help individuals focus on what they do best, leading to higher engagement, fulfillment, and performance. Explore more on how to practically apply these concepts with your clients in the next module.